who is the best quarterback coming into this NFL draft?
Highest ceiling is Malik Willis. Most NFL ready to me is Kenny Pickett. That's what I see. Kenny Pickett took that Pittsburgh program that was essentially, hasn't had a quarterback ever and won the ACC with them. Malik Willis, though, I think, even though he's coming out of Liberty, which he did play for a Hugh Freeze offense and everything like that, very explosive guy and everything. A lot of people say he does remind them of Trey Lance and everything. People forget that he wasn't your prototypical, like, coming out of a small school guy. Like, he ended up at a smaller school, but he was at Auburn before he transferred to Liberty to play for Hugh Freeze. So the talent is definitely there. Like, he had SEC ability. It just didn't work out at Auburn. So that's why I think he has the highest ceiling. Matt Corral to me is, I think he's solid. I think playing in a Lane Kiffin offense obviously made him look a lot better. And the NFL is going to show, like, we're going to wait for the pro days for all these guys, because when the pro days are really going to show, like, what they can and can't do, everything like that, it's going to show, like, but you can't put too much stock in the pro day, because remember, Zach Wilson was making fucking, on the run, like, Zach Wilson was making Mahomes throws on a pro day, and then he gets to the NFL and he couldn't do any of that. So that's pretty much Desmond Ritter. I mean, I like Desmond Ritter. Him being a number 5, I think, is good. Another quarterback that I think is being left out that, he's not going to be a higher one, but I think could be a solid 3rd or 4th round pick was a kid out of Oregon, Anthony Brown. That's like he's a sleeper, a guy that I think could come in and, he could carve out a role for himself, maybe as a backup, or maybe even, I'm not going to go as far as to say Deshaun Watson, but he could be I think he could be a pretty good quarterback. Sam Howell, I have a weird, my thing on Sam Howell was he was supposed to be a lot better. North Carolina was supposed to be a lot better this year. The fact that they weren't is the only reason why I have a lot of suspicion, because this was the year. Clemson was down. This was the year for North Carolina with all they returned to take the step, win the ACC. It was literally conference player of the year was after DJU Youngaloy basically lost it. It was Sam Howell in North Carolina's, and they didn't take it. That's the only reason why I have reservations about Sam Howell.
I agree with you, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just like I am like biased against quarterbacks who come from the state of North Carolina ever since like the Daniel Jones debacle, Mitch Trubisky. I'm just like, stay away from it. If they fall like into the late first round or the second round, hey, all right, come on, go get them. But I'm just like, you know what? Like, I don't see something from Sam Howell that I don't see from a lot of other quarterbacks. For me, I agree with you. Malik Willis, biggest potential, and it's both ways though. He has the biggest potential to succeed. He's also got a lot of potential to bust, and that's not me saying he's going to be a bust. That is me saying that
Trey
it
Lance.
could go exactly depending on where he goes. If he goes like top 3, we're talking about a lot of different like he could potentially be a bust, or he could just have been like something that a lot of other people didn't see. For me, the most interesting one, and the player that if I had to bet my money on it, Andrew, if I had to bet my money on like 10 years from now, which one of these players or which one of these quarterbacks is 100% going to be playing in the NFL, it's Desmond Ritter. And it comes from this belief and what I've seen and especially over the last like maybe 15 years in the NFL. One thing that has transferred over well for longevity, and I'm not saying necessarily he's going to be a star. I'm not saying he's going to be a Pro Bowler even. But people who stay in the league, they won a lot of games in college. Colt McCoy, he's still around. He's still starting games sometimes. You have Case Keenum, still around. Kellen Moore would have still been around. He was still on the Cowboys, and then he ended up being a coach. Now he's in a head coaching consideration, which is crazy to me because he was dropping dimes at Boise State like just a few years ago. But see, for me, I am just like, he won in college. Yes, the fundamentals aren't great all the time. Yes, he throws inaccurate balls sometimes, but those are things you can work on. The dude is a stud. He's a diamond in the rough. He's got potential to do well, and he's a winner and a proven leader, and that's the bare minimum. He's going to come in and do his job in the NFL. which is a lot more than some players can honestly say. And especially coming off of this last year, like 30 touchdowns, 8 picks. The dude passed for 3,000 yards. He's mobile as well. I think Desmond Ritter is going to surprise a lot of people. But for me, like that's the guy who I have to bet 10 years from now, which one of these is 100% going to be playing. I'm like, Desmond Ritter.
I agree. He's the guy. I mean, we don't have a second round pick, but if he's there in the third round, which, you know, like a lot of these mocks, dude, a lot of these mocks are not, you know, you don't know where some of these guys are going to fall. I mean, Desmond Ritter could be a first rounder. He could fall to the third or fourth round. You don't know. If he's there in the third round, though, I want Tennessee to take him.
Hey, everyone. We hope you liked this video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Until next time, keep it real.